On the next page, we have a graph and a scatter plot of points. It says 4.1, notice and wonder crowd noise. What do you notice? What do you wonder? All right, well, a couple things here just to get us started here. First off, today we're going to be talking about linear models. And a linear model is a line that helps us understand the relationship or maybe even the word association that we used before could be used here between two variables. And in this case, the variables are number of people and noise level. Maybe at a stadium. All right, so maybe some measurements were given here, or some measurements were taken, I should say, and looking at the number of people in the stadium versus the number or the amount of noise measured in decibels. If you've ever heard that word before, decibels is a unit of measure of sound, how loud sound is. Sometimes you see the decibel meter. If you ever watch a football game or a soccer game, or maybe sometimes a baseball game, but most often it's like football or soccer, and when it gets really loud, they'll put the decibel meter up so that you know how loud it is in the stadium, and it can get pretty dangerous if it gets too loud over a period of time. It can affect your hearing, so that's something that they monitor. Okay, so what do you notice? What do you wonder? There might be a number of things that we already actually kind of talked about in our intro here about that as well, but let's write down maybe a few that we have, or maybe that I have here, since you are listening to this on the video. I can't exactly hear what you're noticing. What I'm noticing here is as the number of people go up, so does the noise. Okay, so more fans, more people, means more noise. Okay, that might seem kind of obvious, but that's definitely showing us that. I'm also noticing that although the line that is drawn on there is perfectly straight, it doesn't connect the points. So the points are not all on the line. I'm also noticing up here, an equation is given for this line. And noticing the points and the line are kind of right in the middle of the graph here, but notice that the graph doesn't really start off going through the y-axis or x-axis, and the scale doesn't really start at 0 down here, does it? Right over here. So if you look at the scale, it's not going back down to 0. So I'm noticing that the scale doesn't start at 0, probably to save some space because most of our data is much higher than 0, so it makes sense that we would just kind of zoom in on that particular part of the graph. There's a number of things that we could notice there, but those are maybe a few examples, and hopefully you've noticed a few things as well. And maybe we can write down a couple wonders. And they might be related to our notices that we had up top. It's like, for instance, like, why are the points not on the line? I wonder, what stadium is this? What stadium or sport is being measured? I'm curious about that. And then for drawing this line, what can we use this for? Like, what do we do with this situation? There's another bunch of wonders I might have, but those are just a few that we can write down, and hopefully you've thought about a couple as well.